Well, again, we have Collective Finance here today, guys. This was one that was introduced to me from their CMO, Grady. Really got me excited to learn more and get to pick the team's brain a little bit on this one. So, Collective Finance has their pre-sale ongoing right now. It's going to be running until April 1st. That is for their CLF token. But again, they did have a really big announcement drop yesterday, which we were lucky enough to jump into their Discord to learn a little bit more about. Considering what they're focused on being the commodity space through DeFi, they're actually going to be launching their Sea Gold token today. And this is specific to the Arbitrum network. So again, a lot of exciting news being dropped around this AMA. These guys, again, you can participate in the pre-sale ongoing right now until April 1st, and that's set up on the website. I posted it on both of the opener as well as the main post from earlier today. But for me, it's all about understanding the dynamic of the ecosystem, how the revenue gets paid out, how you guys can jump in. And for me, it's the education in the commodity space that I'm really excited about, because these guys have a background in that sector. And considering DeFi is still relatively untapped in terms of its usage or transition and connection to the real world, I think, the traditional sense of investing, if you want to look back 100, 200 years before the stock markets, before, fiat was really a thing, you were trading in commodities, things that came out of the earth that were real. So, ore or iron ore, nickel, gold, silver, bronze, like those types of materials have been what's proven to kind of withstand the test of time, deflation or inflation, market conditions. So for me, taking the approach of into DeFi, which is more of a, global connector, and allowing the individual commodities to come in. I know they focus on a few: gold, diamond, and silver, the three that you kind of see highlighted on their website to start. That's what gets me excited, because as the real world and as DeFi or crypto get closer and closer together, it's projects that are always already starting to connect the gap that I feel will have a better chance of adoption long term. Now, again, non financial advice, listen to the presentation and do your research, but it's that real world connection and that ingrainment in something that's been an investment vehicle for hundreds of years that has me excited. It's not something that's, fabric, it's not fake. We've seen countries and, individuals alike going to load up on gold and silver in recent years. And I think that's because some of the uncertainty with regards to the fiat market. So again, I'll let the team get into all the mechanisms, like the specific breakdown of how the project here at Collective Finance works. But why I like the vision and what they're jumping into from a sector perspective is because it's proven the test of time. It's not, I guess, as volatile as these other assets you maybe see in the space. And the one thing people always say will be around is going to be gold. So why not try and back your token through a commoditized asset? So again, I love the idea here behind this one. It is a very technical, project in nature. So again, I didn't want to get into the technical side. I'll leave that for the team because they're the ones who really know it best. But I just wanted to paint the picture more so why I like the idea, why I think this type of investment vehicle, aligns with the future of DeFi, because it has that pre-ingrained success kind of linked to it. So again, guys, really excited to learn more. Still a few more days in the pre-sale. Really bullish day with your Sea Gold token today launching on ARB. So I'll toss you the mics. Start out with maybe a bit of a personal introduction, how you got involved, how you came up with the idea here at Collective, and then we'll jump right into the project.
Perfect. That sounds good. So this is Doc. Thank you for the intro, Maurice. That was fantastic. Really appreciate it. So everybody's listening. My name is Doc. I go by Brian in the real world. I'm one of our four co-founders. In the outside of the crypto space, I am a practicing physician. I'm also an entrepreneur and business owner and have been for about the past 10 years. I've been involved in cryptocurrency probably for about 8 years or so now. And I've been a really big, heavy angel and seed round investor. And I've been a big gold bug and precious metals investor my whole life. So I'm primarily responsible for protocol oversight and direction, as well as fundraising and investor relations. So thanks again for having us, Luis.
Perfect. Awesome. Hey, everybody. This is Zach in Discord. My handle is Cryptzom, so you guys might know me as that as well. A little bit about me. Gosh, I kind of been all over the place in real life, trying to figure out what I was going to do from the time I was probably 16 years old till about 4 or 5 years ago. But I decided that I wanted to go down the entrepreneurial journey, and it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Headed down that route. At that time, I had built around me a pretty decent network, so it enabled me to be able to go towards that entrepreneurial spirit within me and kind of boost that and get my businesses started. So I kind of took a leap of faith and had a really nice return on the first couple of years. And as that was happening, I was kind of getting into decentralized finance at the same time. It was funny. I took on a OTC deal and for one of my businesses to get into crypto. So it was funny how it was first done. But then from then on, I started to be, an angel investor. I started to join a project, wanted to get on a project. I wanted to take a deep dive further in. Obviously, I'm into precious metals, and we've always been on that gold train. So over time, we've been we've been working together for quite some time now, and kind of headed in this direction for quite some time. It's been, oh gosh, at least a year now. We've been talking about it, and as far as implementation and working on it, it's been at least 6 months. So that's kind of, I guess, in a nutshell, how I got on this train to gold. I think what we can bring to the space as well is organization, integrity, and trust is what we really focus on. And then obviously we want to do something different, bring gold to the blockchain, and well, I guess make the gold on the blockchain more liquid, be able to earn on that gold. And I think that that's really important. That's what we're doing today. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Pre-sale is still live. Obviously right now today, the biggest important thing for us is a C gold token on Arbitrum. So excited for that.
Awesome. Yeah, so my name's Chrome. I'm also known as Monkey, but my real life name is Jacob. I've been around in the space for a few years now, but before that, I was working in trades as an electrician, doing the grunt work and stuff. But luckily, got to do some pretty fun builds on some pretty cool buildings and apartments. But anyway, kind of realized that I wanted to make some more money and started looking into stocks and brokerage and stuff like that. But realized that it wasn't really quite for me, so I hopped into DeFi. Well, hopped into crypto, but then immediately hopped into DeFi because I saw all the innovation in tech and the building, all the projects. I thought it was really unique and cool, somewhere like the right place to be at the time. So got myself involved, got interested, started participating in projects, engaging with teams, kind of seeing what fits and what doesn't, and what people are lacking. And that's where I kind of come in to help fit those little needs and help where I excel, that being in the back end with operations, organizational stuff, setting up AMAs, social media management, things like that. So yeah, you'll find me in a bunch of different Telegram groups and Discord groups, things like that. So if you see me around, say hi. Happy to be here, and thanks, Maurice, for having us.
Awesome, guys. Well, I really appreciate the personal kind of introduction. And obviously, I always ask that first because, learning about some of your backgrounds and understanding that connection to precious metals, to the commodity space, you have to have that level of understanding in terms of like pricing, market movement and stuff to be able to jump into a project like this. So Again, because a lot of your investors will, potentially coming from the crypto side won't understand at all the way the commodities or that side of the world works. So being able to rely on your expertise and your knowledge from an education standpoint is going to be what creates the mentality of holding and turns it from just those people coming in because they see some hype on a project and actually gets them to stay long term and converts them to more of a holder versus just an X chaser. So awesome. I appreciate that, guys. Now we'll jump right into the project. So I don't know who wants to take the lead on this one, but we've seen other projects in DeFi and crypto try to come in and launch with a backed asset. So what led you guys to launch Collective? What kind of led to the idea here? Because it's not exactly a new concept, but it's still growing. It's very underutilized, I would say.
Yeah, this is Doc. I can take this one. So we've really, all of us as founders have been friends and colleagues for a long, long time, and we've always been interested in this type of exposure. We also know that even the gold market alone, if you look at it on a global level, is about $12 trillion, right? So compared to the total global crypto market of, I think, right around $1 trillion. So, and the exposure on chain to some of these assets and precious metals was minimal at best, and what we felt really not secure. And one of the biggest things that we felt was a problem was in the real world, even in the on-chain, was earning yield on while having exposure to these assets. So you can have exposure to some of these risk-off assets like gold or silver or diamonds, but are you able to earn some yield on those as well? So once we really started to dive down into that rabbit hole, it really led to the idea about collective finance, and really it's built on having these assets, these commodities that are over collateralized. And one of the things that was intrinsically important to us as well, we always say that it's apples to apples. So when we say our gold token is over collateralized, well, it's collateralized by gold, not by dollars or something different. So honestly, through this whole process and seeing some of the different options out there in the crypto space, we are big believers in PAX G, and we were holders. So we wanted to figure out a way that we can provide people with 24/7, 365, quick, easy, cheap exposure that most importantly, they can earn yield on, and some growth. So that's a long-winded answer of sort of how we came about.
Awesome. So for you guys, I mean, I'm sure you guys follow the news. How do you feel with some of the price action and some of the movement that's going on in the traditional like financial sector across the globe? With it seems like the US dollar, getting devalued in a lot of these different markets. Well, the substitute a lot of people see across the world is gold. So it's
Mhm.
not so much a project specific question. This is more so just a general question, and it's I think aligns subsequently really well with your timing and your launch. But I would just like to kind of get your thoughts on what's going on
Yeah,
globally right now.
I'll touch on that too. If you're watching what's going on with the dollar, a lot of folks, as inflation happens, people are going to hedge against gold. You've seen it over time, and the timing for us is quite good in my opinion, because you're seeing the price of gold go up. A lot of FUD around the US dollar. Then you have, the CBDC, and just, all of the interesting conversations that go with that as well. So a lot of folks are uneasy right now. And, in these times over history, people start to hedge back into gold and precious metals, right? To store their value somewhere else. Because if the dollar is losing value, well, it might still be liquid, but it's not trusted. So you can have any form of currency, but if it's not trusted, people are going to start to move out of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's well said, Crip. You know, whenever you look at it from my perspective right now, you know, I'm glad you brought up, Maurice, the sort of the weakening of the dollar. One of my businesses is international down in Central America, and we've started to see dramatic changes, right, in our margins because of that change in the dollar as valued. So when you look over the course of time, what has held its value the most, right? I think obviously you can look at hard assets, real estate, land, things like that. But gold is really right there as well. And not to mention, in addition to the things that Cripsom said, you know, with the global macroeconomic situation, inflation where it is today, gold could be in a similar fashion where you almost like look at Bitcoin, where it's set to run up on the upside. So gold is really a way to maintain the value of your dollar if you're in America as well, right? So gold I think is much more important than we all believe, as well as its sort of little brother silver.
Awesome. Awesome. So let's like kind of get towards the, oh, I don't know how you want to start this one. So I guess, do you want to start going more into the overall ecosystem, or would you like to start the conversation today more so focused on Seagold, because you know that is launching
Yeah.
you know, at some point today. So I don't know how you want to structure it. I'll defer that to you guys, and then I'll just kind of play off the flow that you guys would like to kind of roll this out on.
Yeah, I think our main focus today, like you said, is, you know, Seagold as it is launching today. Doc, do you want to touch a bit on that, or do you want me to?
Yeah, absolutely. I can hop in here too, and I agree. I think that'll be good to talk about that first, and then we can dive into sort of the deeper mechanics. So, our seed tokens, really just to understand these, I think a little more before we dive into them launching is important. So, our seed tokens are essentially over collateralized or asset-backed commodities, and the first one that we're going to be launching is our gold token, and that is CGLD. So this token is going to be equal, the price is going to be set equal to 1 gram, 1 troy gram of gold. And when we say that our token is going to be over collateralized and backed, what we'll be using for that collateralization will be actual PAX-G. So if you're not familiar with PAX-G, PAX-G is a gold-based coin that is pegged to the price of 1 troy ounce of gold, and that the actual gold behind PAX-G is in a vault in London. So, and it's back-to-back 1-to-1 in that ratio. PAX-G is run by Paxos, which is a regulated organization, and in particular, PAX-G is regulated in the U.S. and North America. I think it's the New York DFS. So the idea behind our C tokens would be that they are collateralized at a plus 5 to 10%. And simply what this would mean was, you could imagine that if we are holding 10 PAX-G, whether it's on Ethereum or an Arbitrum in a wallet, then we would mint 9 CGLD on the appropriate chain, and in this case, it's going to be Arbitrum. So that there's that plus 10% of the PAX-G that will always be backing up our CGLD tokens, right? And that will be visible and transparent for everybody there. So today we were presented with an amazing opportunity on Arbitrum, which is obviously white hot. We are very good friends and have a working relationship with the folks over at RBDex, and they were kind enough to offer us the opportunity to launch our CGLD token on their DEX, which will be actually happening today, and we can talk about that a little more. But the way to participate in this will be CGLD will be in a liquidity pool with USDT, so you'll be able to have exposure to that token. You'll then be able to create liquidity and stake it into one of their farms and actually earn ARX, which is their native DEX token. So we expect the yield on that to be pretty good coming out of the gate. And this will be the first and only yield earning gold exposure on Arbitrum and exclusive to Arbidex for the time being. So that's just a quick rundown of the C tokens. Monkey, Crip, if you have anything to add there, please hop in.
Yeah, no, I think you did a pretty good job there. I don't really have much to add to it. You pretty much covered all the bases, I think, on that front. Is besides the time. I mean, we can talk about the time a little bit. You know, we're shooting to have, it'll be in the afternoon, EST, late afternoon. So yeah, I guess it is afternoon there, but later afternoon. So I don't know if you want to talk about a time right now. We can. I mean, I think we got it locked down, right, Doc?
Yeah, I think so. We think the pools are going to be going live on Arbidex today around 5 p.m. Eastern. We're pretty much almost all the way confirmed on that, and we will be putting out massive announcements both on all the social media channels. So it'll be pretty epic.
Yeah. 5 p.m. EST, guys, and I'm pretty sure that's locked down, as we've already discussed it within the team and the decks. So we just got to make an announcement on it. Unless something changes, they come back and they say, "Hey, we got to push it a couple hours." We would then let everybody know. But that's the plan right now.
So about 4.5 hours from now, then.
Yes, sir.
You got it.
So with regards to the sea gold, now I know you guys are obviously starting out with like gold being your focal point. I think this is a conversation that we kind of broached yesterday a little bit on the Discord call. But do you guys have, again, it's still early, so I don't want to like put pressure or timelines, but do you guys have the plan to expand the commodities in which you guys will offer specifically on Arbitrum in the future as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, we do. As far as what we're going to do next, we've already got stuff in the pipe. So we're just, you know, we're definitely prepared. You know, we don't talk about everything that we have in the background because we would like to, you know, have it done before we announce. That's kind of how we go. And so, but yeah, things are in the pipe. Things are ready. We're doing pretty good on the back end.
Yeah, to add real quick to that, I think it goes back to my original point. One of the things that's sort of critical to the structure of collective finance is that with our C tokens they are apples to apples, so that they will be collateralized by actually the same commodity, right? So gold to gold, silver to silver. So that makes it unique with regard to when you're looking for what is going to be your collateral. We have very definitive plans after gold that our next two commodities are going to be diamonds and silver. It appears that as of this moment in time right now, most likely diamonds will be first. But the plan is to get gold out there, make sure the mechanics are working how we want and that things are stable, then really get into gold and silver, or diamonds and silver, excuse me. And then beyond that, it's really going to depend on sort of what type of exposure we can get that we feel comfortable and safe with. But you can definitely plan on seeing diamonds and silver on the agenda, on the roadmap.
Yeah, and also too, we have some other commodities that we've been approached, or some commodity protocols that we've been approached by, seeking out partnerships with us. So, and you know, as far as when that's or if that's going to happen, it's to be determined. But it's moving in a good direction.
So I guess for me, with it being linked to the commodities, like just because I'm not, again, I invest a little bit in them, but just not fully understanding the linkage side. Say, for example, the price of gold or the price of one of these commodities. Again, I understand like the volatility is a lot less than crypto, but if it's like really pumping in the market, like how does that inherently like benefit the holders of the Seagold token? Like that's kind of what I'm trying to understand the link between the two.
Yeah, there's a few ways actually, and so number one, right, when you think about this, all of the collateral is going to be in gold. So as gold starts to pump, that price action will go with it, and then our CGLD token would follow with that, right? So you're going to have the potential price appreciation right there just through exposure to that commodity, right? And then on top of that, you're going to be earning your yield as well. if that makes sense. Now, with CGLD launching on Arbitrum, this is a really, really important point. When you look at what we were going to do with our C tokens on Binance and specifically on the Vertex DEX, which uses Balancer V2 tech, we were able to maintain a very, very hard peg there, right? Regardless of volume or liquidity. Whenever you go onto a DEX like we're going to be with Arbidex, where it's more of a traditional uni or pancake fork, it's much harder to keep that specific peg. It actually holds true even if things with like PAX-G, but the liquidity is so large that you don't see a lot of those price movements, right? So what this means is that when we launch our gold token on Arbidex, it is going to have the ability it's going to launch it at the price of 1 gram of gold, but it will be able to have price action both to the north as well as to the south, right? So there's potential appreciation there similar to what you would have in another DeFi type token, right? However, the biggest difference here to understand is that there will be a floor net asset value always on our C tokens. So what this means is that our tokens could trade at a premium to the price of what actual 1 gram of gold is worth, and maybe that's because of demand or because of yield, right? Or potentially it could trade at a discount to that value. The really critical thing to understand here is that that those assets, the gold backing it up, is always going to stay at that same price. So even if our token falls below its peg price, the net assets backing it up are still going to remain the same. So at that point, you would be able to enter at a discount to the net asset value, which creates sort of an instant arbitrage opportunity. So what we've tried to do with our Seagold tokens over on Arbitrum is provide that net asset value floor without limiting upside potentially, and also earning yield. So it's a pretty unique concept, I would say.
Terrific. Now, I guess I know it's not going to have like the same volatility, obviously, like a traditional project would have, but with the yield aspect in play, like I'm just trying to figure out on the bigger pumps, or if maybe there's a large price action or a large volume pump into the gold market, and that obviously increases the price. So what you would be seeing coming back through yield. I just want to make sure, like, what are you guys doing to safeguard that people aren't going to be selling off on those bigger price actions in their yield, like selling the yield that they receive back against the project? Because obviously that's going to create that kind of plateaued effect where amongst growth of the commoditized asset, they're going to be taking out those profits and selling them off against the project. So again, because this is still somewhat of a newer concept to me, do stop me if some of my questions don't really make sense within the ecosystem. I'm just trying to figure out kind of like the chart side of the project, and how the asset pumping isn't going to cause people to sell off the sea gold, like as it gains value, I guess, if that makes sense.
It makes 100%, and this is a great question. And the honest answer, Maurice, is yes, and it's going to depend on that individual, right? So, but here's the beautiful thing: by participants selling at a profit, they're not going to be hurting the protocol at all, to be honest, right? Because remember, we still have all of that collateral that is sitting there, right? So, and by participants selling at a profit, it's going to help naturally arbitrage the price downwards towards that 1 gram, right? So I actually think it's going to be a beneficial, and in my opinion, it offers participants another way to earn yield, right? So look, not investment advice, but if the price of our token would be double what the value of a gram of gold would be at that time, to sell some, take profit, increase liquidity, wait for another entry point might not be a bad idea, right? I also want to make it really clear to everybody so they can hear this, that when we launch our token today, there is going to be some volatility, and then most likely towards the upside. You do not need to overpay for gold exposure if you want it. So I would ask everybody to be patient and to watch things, and you don't need to overpay to get involved in our protocol. So hopefully that answers a little bit what you were asking, Maurice.
No, it does. And again, I appreciate you guys because I really enjoy a project like this because I kind of get to, I did my research. Obviously, I was in the Discord call yesterday listening, asked you guys some question there, but as different topics can come up, I'll get to learn along with the audience. So like that's why I love a project like this, especially to host, because it's really impactful information for me. So thank you guys for just again allowing me to kind of word through some of my questions here as we're talking.
Oh yeah,
Of
no,
course.
we love it. It's good talking about this stuff. So thank you.
I do want to kind of now look, more on the traditional sense and get people comfortable to how they can participate, right? Because I know you guys are working with Vertec, with their decks and their services, but I want to understand now how people can go about buying the Seagold, because I know Arbitrum is still relatively a newer network, although it has really kind of popped off over the last month. So I think a lot of the active traders are probably already bridged over and have some ARB. But how can people now go about participating in the launch upcoming today at 5 p.m.?
Yeah, perfect. Chrome, you want to walk everybody through that, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. This just for RBDex specifically.
Yeah, for the Seagold side of things, because I know for the CLF pre-sale, it's ongoing right now on the website, and there's instructions on how to participate there, so people can follow that along.
Yeah, awesome. So it's funny, I'm actually just kind of working on the background right now, an infographic for kind of a walkthrough. So I got it right up here in front of me. Basically, the best way that you're going to be able to participate and gain entry to start earning yield and exposure to the Seagold on Arbitrum is, first off, if you're not on Arbitrum, you're going to want to bridge to Arbitrum. It's very easy, very cheap. It doesn't cost a lot. And make sure that you know that Arbitrum's native gas token for the chain is Ethereum, though it's not the same cost as the Ethereum network. So you need ETH to make trades, but it's really, really cheap, just like on BSC, AVAX, and Polygon, stuff like that. So once you bridge over, you're going to want to make sure you have USDT on Arbitrum. You can then go to RBDex and connect your wallet and swap 50% or all of it if you just want to get full exposure to gold. But if you want to earn yield, you want to swap 50% of your USDT for CGLD. Then you can create a liquidity position on the RBDex, and then you can stake it on the RBDex. That will earn you yield in ETH and ARX tokens. So you're getting a little bit of real yield from the ETH that you can use to compound, to save for gas, to profit off of, stuff like that. The ARX can then be used to stake within the RBDex to earn further real yield, either in Bitcoin, ETH, USDC, or even more CGLD if that's what you're looking for. So if you're earning ARX, you can go ahead and single stake it on their DEX in the Earn tab. That's like a single staker, and you can slowly start to earn some blue chips or gold. Yeah, that's basically the gist of it. It should be super easy. And as I said, right now, I'm actually working on an infographic to help kind of explain this process and give a little visual guide. So.
Awesome, thanks. And whenever you get that Chrome, just flip that over to me if you could, because as I go, if you want to drop in the group, that'd be awesome. Because what I'll do is I know I'm gonna be putting up a tweet later on for the Seagold launch, so I'll be able to include that kind of infographic on my header, if that works.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Glad we got that. So now I'm not really going to go into the marketing, but I do want to touch on a little bit about the community side, right? Because, you guys have a very unique style project where, yes, it is DeFi, yes, it's crypto, but you could also potentially cater to that, like you said, 12 billion or 12 trillion plus gold market that exists. I mean, the commodity market as a whole, if you put gold, silver, and diamonds together, you're probably looking 25 billion or 25 trillion, 20 trillion plus, somewhere in that neighborhood, right? So, not only that, but you have only about 5 to 6% adoption in crypto. Well, obviously the adoption rate on traditional investing is much higher. So how do you guys go about kind of generating the community here, because you can pull on two different investor groups, whereas a meme coin's only really catering to those crypto or those DeFi people off the bat?
Yeah, great question. I can tell you this from our standpoint, the most important thing from us that we wanted to build out there with everybody was trust, right? And the best way to do that is to be around, to be available, to show your face, to talk through all this stuff and the questions. And then I think for us launching the CGLD token and the proof of concept in a time when maybe people are looking for gold exposure can be very, very impactful. One of the things about collective finance, you mentioned it, Maurice, collective finance was built for yield generation, stability, and growth, not necessarily degen APRs, rebases, or anything like that. So the plan is, especially whenever we launch CGLD, we have two main goals, and that is to get as much CGLD into circulation as possible, and then to increase that liquidity as rapidly as possible, and then frankly to go cross chain as well, which we have some ideas. So the plan is to really grow the market and the community over time. What's the saying? Rome wasn't built in a day. So we want to go for steady, consistent growth, both from a protocol standpoint as well as a community standpoint. And we have a really heavy focus on trying to bring folks off chain, to on chain. And Cryptom's sort of an expert at that, but that's a really big focus that we have as well.
Yeah, no, again, so from I guess maybe an education standpoint. Now, how do you get those people more comfortable with the purchasing through like a wallet? And like, are you guys going to be able to provide those like educational material and everything for people in your Discord or in your different socials to, again, kind of help with the onboarding process? And then maybe moving forward, like what's your thoughts towards introducing some type of fiat on ramp, which again, just helps with the traditional buying process?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Cryptom's probably licking his chops about the fiat on ramp. I'll let him. I'll let him talk about that. But and we have in our audience Grady, who is our chief marketing officer, right? And we really lean on Grady and his team a lot for our approach, brand building, community engagement, and building. And honestly, we wouldn't be able to do what we have been so far without him, right? So and we're trying to sort of build this all based off of trust and transparency. And again, I think just getting that message out, educational support, as you mentioned, Maurice, we have some of that built in already, and we have other things that we're working on as well. And yeah, fortunately, we have somebody on our team who specializes in that, not only the content, but really the macro level plan, right? So that's been critical for us and will be moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as far as off chain to on chain, oh boy, that is a difficult hurdle, right? I've been dealing with this quite frequently, and there's many different ways you can go about it, but you can't move a lot of capital on chain very quickly. It takes quite some time. And when I say quite some time, it can take, weeks. So this is quite frustrating. So I've got a really, really good network that I've been working on and building. And I see the value of the off-chain capital obviously being in DeFi. So I have a decent the network I do have around maybe VCs, off-chain investors is quite strong, but they are those folks that go, well, I don't know anything besides like Bitcoin. So that's what I have to work with, right? So it's like teaching somebody calculus before they know how to add and subtract, which that's hard, So what I've done is kind of tap into a gentleman that I know, I won't leak any names right now, but they're working on a Web 2, Web 3 wallet that will be potentially tied to a card. And, we have first rights to license this. And this is some serious alpha leak because I don't usually do this, but this is in the works. So I see a huge hole there, being able to on ramp and off ramp, and it's usually because of regulations. So if we can sort some of this out, be that bridge, right? So bridge that gap. That's what we would like to do.
Man, it's been a lot of alpha with you guys in the last 2 days for me, so I appreciate that. Honestly, it's like I jumped in that Discord yesterday and just kept feeling like we're getting little breadcrumbs left for us, and then you guys come in here today and you drop another one. So yeah, no, I got to say thank you, for being able to share some sneak peeks and everything with our community, because definitely I'm excited to see the progression of this project, and I know you guys are still in the pre-sale stages for the bigger CLF side of things. So I do kind of want to transition the conversation now more towards that part of the ecosystem. But again, thank you guys so much for the detail on Sea Gold and providing us with the upcoming time tonight, which again just over 4 hours from now, 5 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UTC. For everybody who's looking to check that one out, join the group that I posted, their Discord or their Telegram, and obviously stay active in terms of announcements, because as of right now, they did say that, from speaking to the decks, they're lined up with 5 p.m. But if anything does change, if it was ever potentially delayed slightly from the other side, just stay active in the community so you guys can be aware of the updates that can come out. So let's transition more over to CLF now. Talking about, I want to kind of start first with like more so like a governance standpoint, and like how you guys may use that token as like the main focal point within the overall ecosystem, and if there's going to be some point like in the future of governance, because I know we talked on asset management yesterday, and right now the way it stands, it's going to be kind of managed from an investment standpoint primarily by the team. But do you guys have a plan for the token, now the CLF side, to play into how the actual commodities or the assets will be maybe managed or added in the future?
Yeah, we do. Chrome, you want to take this one, or you want me to, my friend?
I can jump in.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the CLF token, that's basically going to be the backbone of the whole ecosystem of the whole collective finance project. So the CLF token is going to be like a rewards and governance style token. It has a max supply of 10 million tokens, and is going to be for pre-sale participants, right? So this token is essentially what we're going to use for our lock staking program, and to incentivize users to create liquidity, lock it, stake it, so that they can start to earn yield in a multitude of tokens. So yeah, you can kind of think of CLF as being the reward slash governance slash backbone for collective finance and its actual ecosystem and what we have going. So that being our lock staking program, which is essentially the way to participate is by creating liquidity, and this will be specific to the Vertec DEX. So you'll want to create CLF and BTCB liquidity. You'll want to stake that on the Vertec DEX, and you'll get what's called a receipt or a gauge token back from them, and that represents your stake liquidity position on the DEX. You can take the gauge / receipt token, lock it within collective finance platform in one of 4 different time periods, right? And that being the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, and 180-day. So the way that's set up is the rewards are more heavily weighted towards the 180-day. It's not a set percentage of how much you earn APR or anything like that. It's just a weight, meaning that out of all the rewards, most rewards will get dumped into the 180-day lock staking pool. So this is a pretty unique system that we've come up with. And shout out to our guy NP, who's not up here right now. He's a madman with the technology, and working late nights, but he kind of helped devise up this idea to create our lock staking program to be semi-liquid. So each lock stake representation, whether it's in the 30-day, 60-day, 90, or 180-day, that will be your lock stake liquidity position, which is actually in an NFT. So these NFTs can be traded and sold on an NFT marketplace, so that you can actually, let's say you buy a 30-day lock stake, and it's been like 15 or 20 days, but you really need that capital and the liquidity to get out. So you can actually go ahead and try and sell your position on the marketplace to somebody. It might be for a discount, like 80 to 90 cents on the dollar, but you still have that option and ability to be able to kind of exit your locked position early. So it's important to note that when you sell or transfer your NFT, the XCLF NFT, it will transfer the rewards as well as the receipt token to the person that bought it, so that when the NFT unlocks, the person that now holds the NFT has the total control of the LP and the rewards that it's earning. So this is something that we think is going to be really unique and cool for the ecosystem that's not seen around at all really in DeFi, which is, allowing a locked position to be sold. So it takes a little bit of the sting away from locking, because obviously tons of people have been through it where, even locking up for 30 days can seem like a long time, let alone 180. But having that ability that you can then be able to essentially trade it or sell the position to somebody else, I think will be really unique and I guess add some more gamification and more strategy within the ecosystem of itself, and how you can participate and essentially get the best yield. So yeah, that's kind of a mouthful, but that's what XCLF is. It's our locked stake mechanism. That's specifically for the CLF and BTCB LP positions. It's important to note too that the governance aspect is for XCLF holders. So it's not just by holding the CLF token or liquidity, but you actually have to be an XCLF participant to participate in governance. Yeah, that's kind of the skinny on that one, unless anybody else wants to jump in and add some more if I missed anything.
No, I mean, I'll just add just a little bit more from the governance standpoint. Like Chrome said, it's really important to know in our ecosystem, the governance token will not be just the native token, our CLF. It will be the locked version of that XCLF. And the way, Maurice had commented on this before with regard to the core team being in charge of some of the assets and how those are mobilized. What we've come up with, we call it our angels table. And I had mentioned myself and Crypsom have been heavy angel and seed investors in the past. And we really strongly believe that angels are worth way more than just the capital. There's from an intellectual, collaborative standpoint. So what our angels table is almost like a de facto advisory board or a watered down board of directors, where what we are going to be doing is having direct discussion with our angels, seeking input, guidance, and feedback, and then based off of that, we'll be making certain decisions. The plan is going to be long term from a governance standpoint, that as time goes on, we will try to put more and more governance into XCLF, right? But just so everybody understands, that's how we handle it right now, and XCLF will be our governance token.
Man, thank you guys both for jumping in. Chrome definitely was a lot of information, but that it really did make sense to me now in terms of how you guys are going to be able to not control, but allow the community to get more involved within the project and really have that clear cut, line drawn in terms of the different tokens and their benefits. Now, from the pre-sale standpoint, I do also want to jump a little bit into the NFTs, right? Because I think it's for every $1,000 USD contributed into the pre-sale, you're able to obtain one of the NFTs. Now, I would like to learn a little bit more on the NFTs involvement in the overall ecosystem. Again, like what role they may play in the future outside of a yield generation or a revenue standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
You want
gotta
me
go
to take
grab
this?
the charger too, because I think my phone's about to die. It's really getting laggy. So just give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go on mute and just go grab that.
No problem. Yeah, Chrome, for sure, you can take this one, bud.
Alrighty. I'll just wait till Maurice gets back.
All right, I'm back. I just grabbed it. I just didn't want to drop if I ran to a weird area because one part of my house has no service.
No worries, that's all good. So yeah, basically the NFTs, we have two sets of NFTs right now. That's going to be for the angel participants as well as the pre-sale participants. So real quick, we'll talk about the pre-sale one because that's what you asked about. So within the pre-sale, you can come in with $1,000, and it's one NFT per $1,000. Meaning, if you did 2,000, you could get two. So what you want to do is participate, stake or pledge with $1,000, and then it's important to note that what you'll be receiving is not just the native token by itself. So with the 10% premium, if you did $1,000, you'd be getting $1,100 back, but it's not going to be just the CLF token. It's actually going to be in a liquidity position already. So that being the CLF and BTCB. So you're getting a wrapped Bitcoin CLF position at launch through the pre-sale. What you need to do to get that NFT, if you did $1,000, is you need to lock your LP position that you received in the XCLF lock staking. And that can be within any of the tiers, whether that be 30, 60, 90, or 180. Just has to be any one of the tiers, and we want it to be essentially locked within the first week or two. It'll make it a lot easier for us. Though, if you're not able to do that and you are wanting to get your you are wanting to get your NFT, but you're not able to lock within the first week because of some complications, just reach out to us, let us know, and we can figure that one out. But essentially, you need to lock that whole position that you receive from the pre-sale into any of the tiers to be eligible to receive that NFT. This NFT is going to be CGLD focused, meaning it'll be earning you gold rewards throughout the life of the project. And as we earn fees and earn rewards, generate revenue and everything. So if you want to be earning gold for life, basically, that's the type of NFT you're going to want to hold. It'll also be giving you some CLF tokens slowly over time, as well as a small tax discount within the ecosystem. So this will be within the XCLF staking platform, where there's going to be a couple small built-in transaction fees that will ask you to pay with some CLF tokens. And so it's going to be super, super small fees, not going to be anything crazy. But this NFT will actually give you a 20% discount on those taxes. And just to clarify, it's not for buy, sell, transfer tax, anything like that. It's just for the taxes within the actual staking platform itself. So yeah, that's the C Gold NFT. It'll give you the gold rewards, a little bit of CLF plus the tax discount, and then we have future plans for other stuff later down on the line. The other one we have is the Angel NFTs. These are for Angel participants only. So they are getting one, and it's basically going to earn them C token rewards in general. So not just C Gold, but actually also the future C tokens we plan on launching throughout the life of the project. So that being C Silver and C Diamonds and other future ones based on the demand. So the Angel NFTs get you C token rewards, that being all of them, while the C Gold / pre-sale NFT is only the CGLD, the gold tokens. The Angel NFT also gets a little bit of CLF tokens, and it gets a better discount within the ecosystem. The Angel NFT has a 50% discount on the taxes for within the staking platform, not for buying and selling. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of our NFTs. We're going to be getting those going pretty quickly here, actually, since we're going to be getting C Gold live on Arbitrum today. So Angels are going to be pretty happy to start seeing some juice back to them pretty soon.
So, oh man, now maybe future NFT integration. Now, I don't know if you guys have thought about this, but there's obviously a growing number of metaverse projects out there. I mean, some obviously would be better fit than others, but I don't know if you guys have thought about adding a use case in the NFT or picking up maybe a plot of land or building something up where NFTs could be utilized to like go inland, and you could create that aspect of like real life mining in the metaverse through your NFTs. Again, I don't know. It would be more of like a future thing, but I think that would just be really kind of cool to have like the ability to maybe create mines within the metaverse specific to Collectivify using your NFTs and maybe generate yield out of those mines or link a percentage of the commodities to that mine. I don't know if that's something you guys have
Yeah, yeah.
kicked around
That's
or.
an interesting point because I've actually personally invested in a project. I'm not going to talk about the project now, but it kind of basically does that, right? I mean, they invest, and I was part of their VIP, some of their other events, and we're looking.
Crip, your mic is really messed up.
Yeah, that was just, it kind of just really got weird for me the last 10 seconds too. So we'll give them a little second here.
Okay, I'm back.
We're back to good.
Okay, so sorry about that. So I personally found a project. Oh, this was months ago, and they're working on just that to where they're tied to the tangible with their NFTs, and it's based around gold mines, forex trading, some what else did they have? A whole bunch of stuff. Anyways, we talked to them about some potential partnerships, and you just have to be careful, what you get into, from a regulatory standpoint. So we have to make sure everything's kosher before we were to go any further, if you know what I mean.
100%. And again, that's more so just, I love like I said, it's just very unique, and it would be something that would be very outside the box. And, we've seen the popularity on a game like Minecraft, right? So yeah, just again,
Exactly.
that's kind of where my concept kind of came from, because it's just very on brand for what you guys are building.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah,
that's
so we'll leave it at that. Again, future discussion. You never know what can happen. So awesome. Thanks so much for jumping into that, Zach. Now, man, I know there's a lot that I'm covering off, but again, I know I'm not going to get to everything because it's a very deep project here, and I do want to leave a good chunk of maybe half an hour. So maybe I'll ask a couple more questions. There's a few other things I wanted to get to, and then I'll leave like a solid 30 minutes, and then I do want to have a nice like 5-10 minute closing, because again, want to make sure we touch on the pre-sale for CLF, launch of the Seagull token tonight on ARB. So just make sure we kind of close off a few things. So yeah, we'll go 10 minutes my end, half an hour discussion, and closing statements if that works, guys.
yeah, that works great.
Awesome. So I know now there's a couple different ways in which the yield is going to be generated for the project. So this is more so of a yield sustainability question. So like how, like, are there going to be any, I guess, I don't think we touched on it in the Discord yesterday. Are there going to be taxes on the token side? How are those going to help to sustain the different yield mechanisms like the vault, the treasury? Sorry, I just got a little bit of a pop attack there. I just had to go on mute for a second. Yeah, so just wanted to now kind of talk about the yield sustainability and the different mechanisms, the three ways that you guys are going to be able to produce yield in the project.
Yeah, perfect. Chrome, you want to take this one too, as long as you don't run out of breath?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we've been pretty smart. We thought out this pretty well beforehand, before even like getting fully launched and everything. But we knew that we wanted to have some core revenue streams for the project, so that it's not just a closed loop or anything like that. And so we have three main pillars within our ecosystem that we call the vault, the treasury, and the portfolio. So the vault you can consider as the C token holder and issuer. So it's going to hold the POL for all the C tokens, which is going to be farming on the dexes to earn rewards. That being on RBDEX first to start, which will be earning Ethereum and ARX, as well as the trading fees. So yeah, the vault will be the holder, issuer, creator of all the C tokens. That being the C Gold, C Silver, C Diamond, etc. Now, the treasury you can think of as a traditional treasury where it's going to hold our native CLF token. It'll be the POL holder for CLF. It'll be earning the emissions for CLF. It'll get some of the trading fees as well as some of the other tax fees and things like that. That way we can use for other options like marketing and different things like that. So treasury, kind of like a traditional treasury you see in a lot of other projects. But then we have the portfolio, and this is the big kicker. This is what a lot of people really like to see, and it's going to be generating outside revenue. So it's focused on on-chain assets, generating outside revenue for the project, that being in, trading bots, yield farming, different altcoin holdings, stable farms, stuff like that. We already do have 2 investments with our portfolio, that being in Kyoto in the Diamond Vault, as well as Vertec as a VE, which is a voting escrow position, so that we can be able to boost our core pools with emissions. That will be good incentive to bring more users and everything to buy up and create liquidity. So yeah, the portfolio will be specifically for generating outside revenue, which will be voted on a little bit by the core team as well as the angel table to begin with. So we'll come up with some ideas and what we think is good, safe strategies to generate some revenue, and then talk to the angels and kind of hear what they have to say and what their ideas are, see if they have any pitches on where to go, and start to break things down like that. Though we do already have a few set investments in mind that we know are going to be good for the project overall. So yeah, those are the 3 revenue streams: vault, treasury, and the portfolio.
Beautiful. Thank you guys so much for jumping into that. So I kind of wanted to make sure we covered that off. And again, if the community has any additional questions, I can always allow you guys to jump in during your section. I just want to make sure we do a good overview for everyone. Now, I guess the only part we didn't really go back and look at as much from like an allocation of the token standpoint is really understanding like that seed sale or that angel round that occurred, and what the supply allocations look like for holders on that end versus maybe somebody who jumps into the pre-sale round or off launch.
Yeah. Doc, do you want to take this one or do you want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go. I actually only heard my phone cut out. I only heard half the question. I'm sorry. Do you mind repeating it, Maurice?
And no, of course, I said we covered off a little bit on the NFT standpoint, the differences between like the angel NFTs versus like the C token NFTs. But I do want to understand, like from the token supply or token allocation standpoint, what the seed round or the angel round look like, and if there's a difference in tokens or amount that those investors would be getting versus the pre-sale or the launch rounds that would be occurring next.
Got it.
That
Got it.
makes
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
makes sense.
This is something we've actually discussed before as well, and it's really important. I'm glad you brought it up. So when we designed our seed and our angel round, again, this is something that Crypson and I have been intimately familiar with in the past. Excuse me. The idea and that what the system that we put into place was a robust deal for our seed and angel round investors, but this would work out very well for the protocol as well. And the reason I say that is this: in the seed round investment, there's not going to be a large amount of free CLF tokens that are going to be given to our seed round investors, or frankly, all of us as owners or protocol managers. They will be given their contribution back in a combination. This will be one of the components is XCLF, which, as we know, is a locked position, and that will be locked in the 60 to 90-day tier. They will also receive their CLF tokens, the premium, in a vested fashion, which will be over, again, 60 to 90 days, and then they will receive their angel NFTs. What this means is that from our seed round investors, there's always concern when you have these type of raises that there could be dumping of tokens. Well, in our case, that's not even really technically a possibility because our angels have their positions locked and vested, right? So I don't know if that's exactly answering your question, Maurice, with regard to the circulating supply. The other thing is that on our pre-sale, we will not traditional pre-sales, you put in your money and then you're giving back the native token plus your premium. And our pre-sale, as we've discussed recently or on the call today, it's a little bit different in that whenever we're giving a 10% premium, but instead of getting back just plain CLF tokens, you will be getting back a liquidity position, right? So, and this will enable participants to sort of engage in the protocol the way they see best fit. So the idea is particularly from launch to not only encourage the lock staking, but that there's going to be decreased sell pressure because there's not going to be a large amount of free circulating supply. If that makes sense.
Oh, sorry, just a little background here. 1 sec. Right, I'm back. So I did want to kind of jump in. You know what? I was sent a couple questions from my coordinator Buck throughout the AMA from a couple community members. There was one that caught my eye because we haven't really touched on this topic throughout the AMA. This one's from DeFi Whale. Username here is Diamond_hands. His question was, now with regards to the trading bots, I was just curious what models, or is there a specific algorithm that they're going to be using to source and process the data tracked for the portfolio performance? And is there going to be a potential for these trade bots or portfolio bots to give signals or indicators on like performance? Like that's kind of the question there from DeFi Whale. So it's more so like how you guys are using trading bots to track some of the portfolio performance,
Yeah.
indicators that you guys might have, features, I guess, that would be included.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we actually have we've talked to a couple different people, and we're gonna have multiple different strategies as well as sources. So it's not gonna be like all our eggs in one basket. But for some of the answers on like, are we gonna report everything? Yes, 100%. We want to be transparent on what we're earning, because obviously people want to know like what's the yield and everything. So we're going to try and have it set up that it can, kind of display some of the statistics of the bot, though not give away all of the information, because sometimes that can be a little bit dangerous, obviously. But basically, previous trades, how much it gained, how much it earned, that can definitely be a possibility. We're going to look into getting that up, because transparency is number one key for us. But yeah, for the different types of strategies and stuff, it's going to be multiple. There's not anything like set. We don't have like a set algorithm or a set kind, because we're going to be like diversifying into a couple different strategies and a couple different platforms. So yeah, hopefully that helps answer that.
Nope. Thank you so much. Now, next kind of component I wanted to jump into is what I think we've kind of covered off most of it. I do want to ask about portfolio a little bit here, just because for me, are you guys like, what's the I'm just like, this is going to be more of a traditional investment question. Like from the traditional sense of a portfolio, it's often split based on risk categories. So like, how are you guys going to implement more of like the traditional risk strategies into like your portfolio management, like within Collective?
Yeah, basically, I would say. Oh, can you guys hear me?
You're coming through
Yep.
nice and clear.
Okay. Okay, good. So as far as like, are you saying as far as like stop losses, and is that what you're
So
referring to?
like normally, like you'll see like, 25% of portfolio, but again, because you guys are dealing in commodities and they're all considered,
Yeah,
relatively
yeah,
stable, like
yeah.
is there going to be that higher risk category? And if it does exist, what might that be? Like that's kind of
Yeah,
what
of
I'm
course.
asking.
As far as as far as the percentage goes, I can't tell you exactly as a percentage. Personally, I like to use the 80-20 method. Um, that's just my personal way I like to do things. As far as what the portfolio is going to be invested in, it is invested in those altcoins and those other more risky investments. I mean, not assets, investments. So as far as the percentage goes, man, I can't tell you an exact percentage of what we're looking at there yet, because we're still developing the direction of the portfolio. So, once we have a more solidified direction, we do have those investments now. As far as what we're looking at for those, I can't tell you exactly. I'd have to go look at the vault, and I could do the price difference on the rebasis for the token for the Kyoto, and then I could get a better number. But as far as risk percentage, I mean, at this point, it's personally, it's more of like a personal evaluation. I mean, I don't have a hard number.
Okay. And again, that 80-20 rule is kind of a basic, financial principle. I mean, there's obviously some people are a bit more risk adverse and they maybe up that percentage, but yeah, no, I don't mind that at all. So yeah, again, I think we've done a good job giving the overview, and I did want to give, 20-30 minutes for the community to ask some questions. So what I'll do now, guys, is I'll probably start it off with another question from the audience, and then I'll give some time for people to throw their hands up. So if you guys have been saving some questions, get those hands up. I've got about 18 sent to me here from my coordinator. So
Hey, Maurice, this is Doc. I'm sorry to jump in real quick. I know this sounds crazy, but I got to hop off. I have a
that is
handful.
okay. I run them long, man, and sometimes it
No,
happens. So if you got to run, by all means, jump off. I'll send that tweet when I have it up, probably 2 hours before the scheduled launch on the ARB side for Sea Gold, and I'll just Chrome, if you want to drop me that infographic in the group, I'll get it posted. I'll drop it to Grady and in the group, and you guys can obviously kind of drop that in your socials as well. But Doc, have a good rest of the day, and I'll connect with you guys closer to the launch tonight.
yeah, absolutely. That's great. And I think you're going to have Monkey and Crip here for a little longer. I just got to go see a few patients before my nurses kill me. So thanks, Maurice, and we'll talk soon for sure.
Have a good rest of the day, and we'll talk tonight. So yeah, we'll go here. I have my first question coming in from.
Real quick, Crip, can you go on mute? There's like a whole bunch of background noise coming from you. There we go. Go ahead, Maurice.
Just reading a couple different questions. We touched on the first two about the NFTs, so those are good. So this one's a question from Bubble Rift. This is a question about the pre-sale entrance. They said, as you're able to enter into the pre-sale with a couple different payment methods, is there going to be the ability where you choose the type of coin in which your rewards come? Or is it only being rewarded in the native token?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we actually
Today, but
talked.
we did cover it off in the Discord yesterday, so I definitely wanted to kind
Yeah.
of get to that.
Yeah, no, it's great. That's actually a really good question. So we have talked about that. I brought that up one time, but we think it'd be better, more simpler on us because with the way the reward style is set up, it's not just more CLF tokens when you lock and create XCLF. You're not just getting more inflationary rewards. You're going to be getting gold, Bitcoin, and stable coins, as well as a little bit of CLF. So you get a basket of rewards. We're offering a real yield, not just inflationary, rebases or more tokens, more project tokens. And so these tokens or the rewards are going to be coming from our 3 different revenue streams that we talked about, that being the vault, treasury, and the portfolio. So everything that we have is going to be set up to generate revenue back to the project as well as participants. So yeah, you can expect that you'll be receiving tokens in Bitcoin, BTC, gold, stable coins like USDC or USDT, as well as more CLF. But currently, no, there is no option to pick. Because we'll just be earning everything in all these different tokens. That way we can just simply add them to a smart contract and distribute to all of the XCLF holders. So yeah, you can expect that it'll just be a basket of rewards.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much for going that. And I did want to touch on the Vertex side too. So I know we went into it yesterday a little bit. I asked you this question in the Discord AMA, but benefits with regards to the DEX for like Sea Gold holders and stuff like that, like CLF holders, like anybody who's trading a partner token within your DEX, like what will some of those benefits look like for them as well on the reward side? Or because I think it's ARX and ETH they can claim, if I'm not mistaken.
So that's for the RBDEX on Arbitrum specifically. So for when creating liquidity and staking it on RBDEX, you'll be earning your yield in ETH and ARX tokens. And so a little bit of ETH and then the ARX, it's a pretty good combo because ARX has been slowly growing in liquidity. Their TVL and everything on RBDEX has been growing. So it's actually really solid. You can go and single stake those ARXs to earn other blue chips and stables and actually gold starting later today. So With Vertex specifically, that's like our partner. They're just on Binance right now. But they, with the balancer technology, they can offer up to 8 token rewards in a pool. So there's the option to throw in a bunch of different tokens for rewards, that being, either altcoins, blue chips, staples, things like that, as well as bribes within Vertex. So you can actually bribe core pools so that when people vote for them to boost emissions on those pools, you'll actually be getting some of the bribe that was put into that pool. So it's a little bit of a complicated system there, but within Vertex and the Balancer V2 technology, there is a plethora of different options and availability for what you can earn. But right now, if it were to go on Vertex, those rewards would be primarily in the VRTK and CLF, just for staking on the DEX, as well as the trading fees you'll earn. But then when the real rewards really come from locking and staking the CLF and BTC BLP in collective finance to start earning the plethora of the stable coins, Bitcoin, gold, and stable coins, all that stuff. So hopefully that answered that.
Thank you. Again, I know we covered it off yesterday, and there's just a lot of information I've had kind of within the last 24 hours with this one. So I do apologize if maybe a little bit of it's blending together, but I appreciate you kind of just make sure we clarify that for everybody here while we're listening. So I will get the first listener up here with a question. We'll go to somebody I know I've seen with their hand up for the duration. And we got Itachi there at the bottom. And then we'll try and get Rocket Adams in here. I know Rocket's had his hand up for a good chunk of the AMA. So we'll go Itachi, Rockets. We'll go one more from the audience, and we got maybe DC. We got Wednesday. I don't know if we've ever heard from her before. She's got a picture of the old Adams family in her name. So yeah, we got a lot of options here. A couple new names, a couple old ones.
Yeah, hello. How are you?
Hey, Itachi, go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is, it's relating to tokenomics. How can tokenomics models be designed to incentivize long-term user engagement and create sustainable value for all of the stakeholders, investors, developers, and users in the context of decentralized applications and platforms?
That's a pretty wide, I guess, broad question. I mean, it depends on the project. For us, I think we have our tokenomics set up pretty well sustained for not only the participants, but also as the treasury, angel investors, everything like that. We have 50% of our supply going towards staking rewards over the course of 3 years. So half of the supply, around 5 million tokens, is already not minted, but going into the master chef, which will have control over minting and distributing those tokens. So we'll actually have a more accurate representation of our market cap off rip. But yeah, basically for 3 years, once the project launches, 5 million tokens, which is half of the supply, will be going to specifically XCLF stakers. So people that are locking liquidity and earning those rewards. So yeah, that's kind of the one way we've done that, is to incentivize a lot of our supply to only go to the best participants, those that have locked liquidity and are there for the long term. But again, it's a pretty broad question. I think it all just depends on the project itself, what they're offering, and their utilities to have a good structured tokenomics. So that'll vary project to project, but I think we believe we have a very good setup for ours.
Yeah, I think it is. Seems like a pretty valid tokenomic setup, and yeah, I would love to invest in it.
Thanks for the questions, man.
We'll go here. I called out, where are they? Rocket here. Rocket, I don't know if we've had you out before. Appreciate you taking the time to jump in. You can go ahead with your question.
Are you there, Rocket?
May have jumped out. Oh, he's back.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Hey, Rocket. We got you.
All right, straight to my question. Are these rewards adjusted to actual price of gold and silver, and diamonds.
The
Um,
so like the price reflection, like meaning like if the price of gold or like the commodity goes up, the amount or the percentage of your rewards would increase with that price increase. Is that
I asked if the rewards um will be adjusted to actual price of gold, silver, and diamonds.
So our C tokens are all going to be basically backed by their floor value. So you can see the collateral of our PAX-G sitting in the vault. So this is specific to Arbitrum right now as well, because within Vertec, because of the balancer V2 technology, we can actually have a hard set price, like a hard peg. So we can tell the contracts basically that the gold token needs to be worth this much and it'll stay at that price. But on RBDEX and other dexes, they don't have that capability. So it's more of an open market token. But the PAX-G that's backing it sets that floor price for what the token should be trading. And we're going to be doing our best to help maintain that floor price. So the rewards or the C tokens will or should always be valued at their current market rate based on like the PAX-G collateral and everything. But the rewards that you get will be variable because they're not just gold and they're not just silver, but the rewards you're getting are going to be multiple tokens, which have fluctuating price points. So the rewards will always be variable based on, I guess, the token prices themselves. But that's not just gold or silver, but that's also Bitcoin, stable coins, CLF tokens, and everything like that.
Okay, I get. Another question: how frequently can these rewards be withdrawn, and what is the limit to withdraw?
that's a good one
Yeah.
too. I don't touched on thresholds or anything yet.
Yeah, so
that's a good.
the way that it's set up is basically, I believe within the staking contract, you'll be getting dripped daily. Though for us, it's something on the back end where every 1 to 2 weeks we can go tally up all of our profits from the different revenue streams, and then pretty much put them into the contract, which will then distribute daily to all the XCLF holders. So you can go
I
ahead and claim every day or every hour or every second if you wanted to, because the rewards will just be dripped out to you daily.
Exactly. I'm glad you touched on that. Yeah, it's you can go claim every second. You know, it's not advised, but I mean, you could end up paying more gas than you would on getting the rewards depending on your position. But yeah, you can claim them at any time.
Okay, based. That's a based answer. Thanks for the opportunity. Great
Of course,
evening.
brother. Thank you for
Appreciate
being here.
that, Rocket. I don't know if we've had you out. New name to me, so thank you for coming by. As mentioned, I'm going to go here to one from the audience. I know not everybody has a mic, and then I'm going to get DC up
Hey,
afterwards.
Maurice.
Hey, what's going on, Alfred? Just give me a second here. You know, I don't like when people kind of jump in at a turn. If that's okay, I know you can join through the join link to skip the mute process, but again, we don't do that here. So, we have one from Karen that I've been trying to get out there. She just has a couple of questions here for you. First off, are you guys planning on building a dashboard for the project where you can see your portfolio tracking and be able to also kind of track the performance of the commodities over the history?
Yeah, perfect. That's a great question. It's already being done. It's actually probably 90% done for our D app, which will then all that stuff is going to be integrated on that D app or DApp.
And next question here from Karen. Would investors at some point be able to buy directly from the protocol owned liquidity, or is this only for locking and
Yeah.
rebate programs?
No, I mean, are you talking about like an OTC?
I would have to ask Buck to specify with her. She did not clarify that. The specific question was, would investors be able to buy directly from the protocol owned liquidity, or is it only for locking and rebate programs? So that's all I have to kind of go off of.
Yeah.
But I could ask Buck to quickly specify with her
You know,
if you'd like a little further
Yeah, I
clarification.
mean, I think that's kind of where she's headed there. And if it is, if I'm right and she is asking about that type of be able to purchase from our POL, that would have to be an OTC deal that we would, yeah, of course, we would be happy to facilitate. It would be towards, I would imagine, towards some pretty large positions. We could facilitate that with.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. And again,
Larger
Karen, if you
entries.
have any follow-up questions or anything, just drop them to Buck or send them to me, and I can obviously, read up any specific follow-ups you had to the team. Now we will go here to DC because again, I've called him out and I know he's been patiently waiting. So D, I just saw your hand drop when, TG did its thing. So if you want to throw it back up, I'll get you in. If not, I can maybe try and go to Alfred, who again seemed pretty eager to get one in there. So, let me know. There's Telegram's a little slow. Okay, we'll go to Alfred here because again, he wanted to get one in.
Hey,
We can bring up
Maurice.
DC. Hey, what's up? Go ahead, Alfred. Sorry to have to mute you again. I was just middle
Uh,
of running one out from
yeah,
Karen, so I wanted to give her the time to get her question in.
yeah, I do understand. I was just trying to get in while I was still confident about my network.
Yeah,
So,
that's okay, man. I got you.
yeah,
Go ahead.
okay, man. So, I just wanted to ask just a quick question. I quite understood everything has been saying, but I just wanted to ask, like, do you have a solution, like, to users who wants to enter the collective finance ecosystem early, but cannot afford to commit the angel seed round?
There's a lot of background noise there. I couldn't quite understand. I heard Angel Seed Round and I couldn't hear the rest.
Yeah, I said, do you have a solution to users looking to enter the collective finance system ecosystem early but cannot afford to commit the angel seed round?
Yeah, that's what the pre-sale is for. So we have the pre-sale ongoing right now, and it's a minimum entry of $50, that being USDT or BUSD. So the angel round minimum was around 5K, which is obviously quite a lot, but the pre-sale is only $50, 50. So it's a lot easier for the everyday person to get into. So if you're interested in getting into collective finance as an early participant, highly recommend checking out our pre-sale, which is live right now.
Great. So with the pre-sale user just receiving the CLF tokens only, or with the liquidity tokens itself come along?
Yeah, so for the pre-sale, it's just the CLF that's going on right now. What we did spend some time, I don't know, again, you could have joined late. So typically what I recommend, Alfred, like I said, is if you don't join and listen to the whole presentation, we do have these recordings available and you could always just go back and listen to them afterwards. But yes, the pre-sale specifically CLF token, what's launching today, later on Arbitrum, 5 p.m. Eastern, will be C Gold. So again, no pre-sale needed. If you want to jump in, there'll be information that I'll tweet about on how to participate. Also, the team has infographics they're making. We'll be dropping in their Telegram, their Discord, just against you know how to follow the process to get involved. So pre-sale CLF launch today on Arbidex is the C Gold CGLD ticker.
Okay, great, man. Quite joining late, but I'll go through the recording.
Awesome. Thanks, Alfred. And again, no apologies. Learning is important, especially about projects like this. But team's been going for about an hour and a half. Don't want to have them repeat themselves, so I can always jump in and cover off some of those more basic questions myself. So yeah, we'll go here. I think D mentioned he had to jump out, so that's okay. We have one from. Let's see who we got here. I'm gonna take a shot there with somebody supporting Trav and what he's building up. So we'll try Sean. Oh, D pop back. We'll get him in. We'll try Sean and D. And then I have one more. Buck just re-forwarded to me, said, hey, maybe look at this one. Haven't touched on that. So let me read. Sean, go ahead.
Hello, guys.
What's up? Go ahead.
Am I okay?
You can jump in
Okay.
whenever.
Hey, Sean.
Thank you, Maurice. So my question is about the two tokens I see on the website. So the the C tokens, do they give us the same reward we earn when holding the CLF token?
Yeah, Chrome, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so the C tokens are the over collateralized commodity representations like CGLD, which is launching today on Arbitrum. The way to earn yield on that is by creating a liquidity position and staking it on the RBDEX. So you can buy the token to gain exposure to gold, though there's no way to earn yield on it by just holding it. You have to create a liquidity position, then stake it on the RBDEX, which we're going to have some infographics and stuff like that out later today. Also, like a guide to explain how. And yeah, so that's how you can earn yield. And the yield will be in ETH and ARX tokens. So yeah, that's how you can get some gold and get some yield on it to create liquidity and stake it.
Okay, okay. Thank you. And the price of the C token will remain constant, right?
We are going to do our best to maintain the floor price. So the token will be openly traded, though we will have the collateral to back it at its floor price. So it's good to kind of follow the floor price of what gold should be trading at. And you can come in to buy in lower and sell higher. So just be wary of the current market rate of gold versus what the actual token price is at the moment.
Yeah, guys, and this is not, not financial advice. The token going on to RBDEX is it's going to be a little bit volatile upon more liquidity entering that pool. So we have pretty significant plans here as it launches to balance that out and make sure it doesn't go above 5-10% of the current value.
Okay.
Awesome. No, and again, I appreciate that question, Sean, because even for myself, you heard me kind of trying to feel my way through certain questions because this is definitely more complex than, a typical project you maybe see in the space, just because there is a couple moving parts, and the fact that they are linked to something that is, considered a commodity and has value in the real world can be a little bit, you know, more detailed. Even myself, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't even know sometimes if the questions I was asking were were relevant.
Yeah, it seems complicated, but we have some pretty good automation that's going to
Well,
come in to help.
And the way you've simplified the answers, I think just the more you hear it and the more times you kind of have it broken down in a simplistic way, I think it does help because there's
Okay, good.
a
Cool.
lot of moving parts to it. But Dee will get you to jump in, and then I'm gonna get that question my coordinator sent to me in afterwards. I'll probably take us to around 150-ish, and I did want to leave that 5 to 10 minute window for closing statements here. And obviously want to give the team some time to kind of get back into the community and prep for that upcoming 5 p.m. Sea Gold launch.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know, man, it's like you may have already answered this or something like it, but I've honestly been typing away in the background. So I've been auditorily multitasking. But anyways, man, I just wanted to know, like, how are you gonna get people to want to how are you gonna want to get people to use your service when, like, in crypto, you're already taking a risk. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't they? And like crypto is kind of like the space right now, not because of the media or the government or nothing, but just the times that we're in, the space is like real untrustworthy right now. And a lot of people be like, if I want to get gold or diamonds or any other commodity, like, why don't I just go to a more reputable, government firm or something that's licensed with the government? You know what I'm saying? With this crypto stuff, the FTX and Luna, Quan and USDC depegging, USDC why would I go to the
Yeah.
crypto? Now, if it's me personally, I'm going to y'all rather than the government because I'm anti this government. I'm not anti-government in general, but I'm anti-United States government. So yeah, what would you say?
That's a good question. Um, yeah, I heard you bump in, Chrome. I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I thought what he was saying was funny. Very well said, and it's a good question, but you go ahead and answer.
Yeah, I mean, here's how I look at it, guys. I mean, if I have gold and silver, I'm a precious metals bug. I do hold it in my own safe. I don't have any certificates to other, safes and holding larger quantities because I would rather, if I'm gonna do that, it's either I'm gonna go on into crypto and invest and have my so-called certificate there. But if I want it, I'm not gonna keep it in a vault somewhere else. If I want tangible, I'll buy it and keep it tangible, but just enough to where if something happens and I have somewhat of a different store of value other than just cash or something digital, right? So, but with that being said, I hold very little tangibly and a lot more on chain because I like the idea of being able to 24/7 365 be able to trade in and out of gold seamlessly, and it's a lot more liquid, right? So what we've done is added another layer to be able to bring that gold to other chains because of the high fees on ETH. So we're basically going to ETH's L1, essentially L1 solution or L2 solution, Arbitrum, and now we're able to bring more exposure into that gold, and then almost offer a unique opportunity within that offering to have an opportunity to make money on it a little bit on the price if you want to arbitrage it just a little bit, but also when you stake that, you're going to have a great APR to start in this pool.
Yeah, I wanted to add on a little bit. That was awesome, Zach. Because I like obviously holding gold in real life. I think a lot of us can recommend that. We're all precious metal bugs on the team here, but specifically, what we're doing is being able to provide that exposure and yield opportunity to commodities, right? So in real life, with brokers and everything like that, you're super heavily limited. Like you're only able to trade on weekdays, 9 to 5. And in DeFi, it's 365, 24/7, right? You can make a trade whenever you feel like. So if you're trying to capture that price appreciation of gold, you can't really do that in the real world because you're going to get hit with the broker fees. You have to go in at certain times of the day. There's just lots of restrictions. So what we're doing is basically giving that ease of access as well as the wide, broad exposure to many networks all over DeFi. It's just not seen anywhere else right now other than PaxG on Ethereum. But as Crip said, the gas fees and as well as accessibility on ETH is just not there right now.
Yeah, and two, I mean, anybody could do this, right? Anybody can do what we're doing. Go ahead, no problem. Like I think people will do some similar things, but what I always say is your network is your net worth. So just because everybody can do it doesn't mean that it will succeed because you have to have more than an idea. You have to have folks that are going to be around to help support you, and my network is something I focus on heavily. And with what we've done here, we've been exposed to not only my network but all the members in the founders networks, and we've created something that is very unique because of that.
Yeah, I like the answer, man. Yeah, just wanted to know how you was gonna pull that off, man. Because right now, like people, don't understand that, in new and emerging industries, it's normal for certain people and certain things to come and go and get flushed out. It's just that now that we're in a bear market, everything that's negative, it just gets amplified. So I was just wondering that, seeing how y'all was gonna handle it. But that was a good job.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I don't think that I wouldn't say now that I mean, I see what you're saying now that we're in a bear market. I mean, we've been in a bear market for a while. And I'm not talking down or anything. I'm just saying what I see is we've been in a bear market for a while. So, people, and not to mention the bear market, you look at, what folks are doing. I mean, you look at the US dollar and the CBDC, we've talked about that too. I mean, if you're up to date on that, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I mean, people are gonna, you're starting to see the market and folks moving and hedging into, gold and Bitcoin. You can see those charts. They've gone up over the past few weeks.
Yeah, man. Do you think CBDCs are going to be coming for like the entire country, or like, how do you think this is going to play out? That's the last thing I'm asking. Just want to know, get some insight.
You know, as far as a personal answer, I don't really want to comment too much on that. I have my own tinfoil hat moments, but I'd rather wait and see how it plays out before I answer that.
All right.
I'm right there with you on that one because I've been watching it and seeing it get implemented in other places, and I'm like, I hope it doesn't come here.
And it hasn't been received well from what I'm seeing, and it hasn't been national either.
No, and I mean, it doesn't make sense why it would be received well. I mean, the banking system already has enough control, right? Like, I don't know why we give them more.
Yeah, I mean, essentially saying like, you know, they see, you know, they see the snowball building, and they want to hop on for the control because crypto is not a national currency; it's global. So that's kind of tough to accomplish, you know.
Yeah. The next bull run is, I dub it Operation Escape the Matrix. It's to make so much life-changing money that you can just move anywhere in the world and don't have to worry about the government affecting you anymore, really. But I got a suggestion for y'all as well. One thing that you should implement into your project is a smart contract system, to where, and I know some projects who do have this, where people can buy and sell just by interacting with the contract. So on the smart contract on Etherscanner,
Yeah, you're talking about like a minting contract.
I guess so. But it would be, you go under contract and you would hit functions, and there's buy and sell, and you would enter the amount. You hit buy, it would automatically go through. It's the exact same thing
Yeah.
as using or pancake swap, just as fast. It's just the way, so it's the most decentralized thing you can get, and it makes
Yeah, it sounds like it's like some sort of minting. Are you talking about like buying and selling CGLD?
Yeah. So like, people like with Surge, I'll give you an example. That's Project Surge. What I did was, you can take your BNB, enter the amount of BNB you want to buy into the contract, hit buy, confirm it in your wallet, and then you have a wallet, and then you can do the same thing for selling. Reason why I'm saying is because I don't think it's going to be an issue, but just in case like DeFi protocols get banned, like, you can still have that freely and be the new standard, because they can't.
Yeah, I actually know
Yeah, I see
exactly
what
what
you're
you're talking
saying.
about. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen
got
that in a lot of other projects, but we're most likely
Yeah.
not going to have that with ours starting out. It will just be traded on traded as a regular liquidity pair on the DEX.
Yeah, but we
Okay.
are working on something in that fashion already. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's something similar. You know, because eventually, it would be nice to be, you know, have a mint and redeem type model, and that's already being developed. So that's a lot of alpha. Probably get in trouble for that.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, again, guys, I mean, for me, we covered off a lot about the project, both the CLF as well as the Sea Gold launch upcoming. We did touch on, some really just good discussion points as well. Thoughts on the commodities market, thoughts on, the US dollar and how it could benefit you guys. I will say again, I think your timing on the release on this is, kind of, it's working out really well for you. But I do want to obviously have you guys close things off with some calls to action in terms of for tonight, and then for more so like the next couple of days upcoming within the ecosystem there. So for me, I mean, it's been a pleasure to host you guys, to have some questions come through. I need to really still even, do some not research, but just really make sure I understand the functionalities and understand how these revenue functions are going to work, because I love the concept. And now it's all about getting it live and then seeing those rewards start to come in, because that's what makes it real. And I think once people see those rewards coming into them, that's what starts that secondary wave, right? People are like, oh man, I'm getting, X coming through. I'm getting this coming through my Seagull, through my CLF. And that's really where like the word of mouth, where that shilling can start to happen. So again, guys, I'm really, happy that you guys took the time. I also really do appreciate that invite you extended to me to jump in your Discord with our community last night. But I will pass you the mic to close off officially. And again, from here at Caesars, really love learning about, what Collective is building, and ultimately, that partnership you guys have with Vertec. I think that's one of the things that initially drew me in. So thank you both for the time, and I'll let you close out.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you having us too. We appreciate everybody being here. Great questions. We're always open to good questions, and I feel like we're pretty well educated on where we're headed as far as where we're headed with the protocols. So we're happy to answer any questions. And it was a great time to be here, Maurice. Thanks a lot. Anybody, if they have any if they want to catch up on our AMA yesterday, you can hop in the Discord. That's available as well. Chrome, why don't you go ahead and kick it off and tell everybody all about where we can go with this.
Yeah, absolutely. So last touches here. Our pre-sale is live right now currently. So you can go ahead, check out our website, join our Discord, follow us on Twitter. We got lots of stuff coming in the next few weeks. We'll also be having our first token CGLD launch on Arbitrum within the Arbidex at 5 p.m. EST. So that's Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. It's going to be the first time that gold is going to be coming to Arbitrum. So we're very, very happy and proud to say that we're going to be offering that and be the only place that you can gain exposure to and earn yield on gold. Yeah, super exciting. Pre-sale, join our Discord, check out our Twitter, all the fun stuff. Super excited for this. Thank you, Maurice, and thank you for everybody in the audience for being here. If you're curious about a little bit more about us as a team, we have roughly like 40 videos out there explaining Collective, kind of going over the team. We're fully doxed. The entire team is fully doxed. We're all KYC'd. All of our contracts have been audited even before we open the pre-sale. So we're all about safety, security, transparency, and trust. Yeah, thanks everybody. This is a great time and looking forward to coming back on again, hopefully. So thank you.
Thanks, Zach. And again, guys, 5 p.m. Eastern tonight, join the community if you haven't already. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled. That's when the launch is scheduled for. But again, stay in the